The Harley Quinn show isn't your typical superhero show. It's raunchy, violent, and absolutely unhinged, but it still finds a way to be full of heart. Behind the twisted friendships of Harley Quinn, Ivy, King Shark, and the rest of Gotham's chaotic crew, there's more going on beyond the screen. So grab a snack, maybe a flamethrower, as we go through 107 facts about Harley Quinn. Number 1. The idea for an R-rated Harley Quinn animated series actually predated the DC Universe streaming service. In summer of 2016, Warner Bros. TV executive Susan Rovner called producers Justin Halpern and Patrick Schumacher out of the blue and asked, "How would you guys like to develop an R-rated serialized Harley Quinn animated show?" It was a no-brainer yes for them. Halpern and Schumacher had been writing partners for years, and as lifelong DC fans, they jumped at the chance. Number 2. Halpern and Schumacher weren't newcomers to DC adaptations. They previously worked on NBC's 2017 sitcom Powerless, an office comedy set in Wayne Enterprises. Powerless was short-lived, but out of its cancellation rose another DC gem. The duo's experience blending workplace humor with superhero lore in Powerless helped lay the groundwork for Harley Quinn's unique tone. In fact, the idea for an animated series landed in their laps while Powerless was winding down, giving them a second shot at an offbeat DC comedy. Number 3. Warner Bros. Gave Harley Quinn an unusually strong vote of confidence. The show was picked up for 2 full seasons, 26 episodes, right off the bat. As Schumacher recalls, by the time DC Universe, the streaming platform, was building its lineup, they decided to pick up Harley Quinn for 2 seasons immediately, instead of just 1. This meant Halpern and Schumacher could plan a 26-episode story split into 2 13-episode arcs from the very start. Number 4. Because of that 2-season order, the writer's room operated on a marathon schedule. They launched the room in November of 2017 and wrote straight through to January 2019 to script all 26 episodes. By the time Season 1 premiered in late 2019, they were already putting finishing touches on the end of Season 2. Schumacher noted it was almost a 4-year journey from initial pitch to having both seasons completed, an unusually long yet continuous production process for a TV show. The upside? The team didn't have to worry about a renewal in between and could maintain momentum and keep the entire crew hired for 2 straight years. Number 5. Harley Quinn premiered on the DC Universe streaming service on November 29, 2019, and it quickly became a hit for both fans and critics. At a time when DC Universe was a fledgling platform, the show stood out as one of its most noteworthy original series, celebrated for focusing on Harley freeing herself from Joker and striking out on her own. Reviews praised the series' delightful, profane, violent humor, and word-of-mouth spread that this wasn't your typical Saturday morning cartoon, but rather a bold new take on DC lore. Number 6. Talk about a fast turnaround, Season 2 of Harley Quinn dropped only a few months after Season 1. The first season wrapped on February 2020, and Season 2 premiered April 3, 2020. This wasn't a case of rushing production, it was planned, as I mentioned before. The writers had conceived Season 1 and 2 as a continuous 26-episode narrative, thanks to that upfront order, and DC Universe opted to air them with minimal break. Essentially, fans got a double dose of Harley. 2 seasons within a 5-month span, which helped the show rapidly build momentum and a devoted following. Number 7. After DC Universe was folded into HBO Max, the Harley Quinn series found a new and bigger home. There was a bit of uncertainty in 2020 when DC Universe stopped original programming, but by July 2022, Season 3 of Harley Quinn premiered as an HBO Max original. The move to HBO Max brought a larger budget and audience, but the creative team was relieved that the parent company let them keep the same uncensored, no-holds-barred approach. In fact, executive producer Justin Halpern noted how remarkably supportive DC was of their wild content, with only one infamous exception, but more on that later. Number 8. Despite Warner Bros. Discovery's notorious 2022 shakeups, which saw many projects cancelled or removed, Harley Quinn survived and thrived. In August 2022, amid company tumult, HBO Max not only confirmed Season 4, but also announced a new showrunner, Sarah Peters, to take up the reins. Peters is a writer who had been with the show from early on. She wrote standout episodes like the Season 2's Bachelorette episode and the Season 3 premiere, so the creators trusted her completely. Harley Quinn fans shouldn't be alarmed, EW wrote, noting Peters had crafted some of the show's best moments already. Number 9. Co-creators Justin Halpern and Patrick Schumacher stepped aside after Season 3, but they handpicked Sarah Peters as their successor. We're equally thrilled that this next season will be in great hands with Sarah Peters as the showrunner, Halpern and Schumacher said in a statement. Peters had been influencing the show with her brilliance since the beginning, so promoting her ensured Harley Quinn would keep its voice. Number 10. The show's supervising director, Cecilia Aronovich Hamilton, remained on board as well, overseeing the animation quality into Season 4. Number 11. By late 2023, Harley Quinn had been renewed for a 5th season, proving its staying power. This longevity is pretty rare for an adult animated superhero comedy, especially one that started on a niche platform. Warner Brothers Animation's executive Peter Girardi even joked that Harley Quinn has raised the comedic crowbar with every new season, and promised season 5 will be their biggest swing yet. Number 12. To celebrate the renewal of the show, the showrunners quipped that they'd handed out 3,000 NDAs to keep the news secret, and were relieved that they could finally stop shushing people. Clearly, Harley and Ivy's misadventures aren't ending anytime soon. Number 13. The show's success has spun off an entire mini-empire lovingly dubbed the Harleyverse. The first spin-off series, Kite Man, hell yeah, was announced in 2022 and debuted in summer of 2024. It follows Kite Man, Harley's lovable D-list buddy, in his own misadventures running the seedy Noonan's bar in Gotham. The producers described the spin-off as Cheers with supervillains, a place where all the C-list crooks hang out because they've got nowhere else to go. It's a way to spotlight characters that normally wouldn't be taken seriously by anybody, says EP Dean Lorry, by letting them drink, scheme, and commiserate together at the bar. Number 14. Noonan's bar in the show is pulled straight from DC Comics lore. It originates from the 1990s Hitman comic series by Garth Ennis, where Noonan's is a dive bar for assassins. Dean Lorry, co-creator of Harley Quinn, happens to be a massive Hitman fan and even tried to pitch a live-action Hitman show years ago. So bringing Noonan's into the Harley Quinn universe was a passion project for him. Number 15. Let's talk about voice cast, because Harley Quinn boasts a murderer's row of voice talent. Kaylee Cuoco, fresh off The Big Bang Theory, landed the title role of Harley Quinn and also executive produces the show through her, yes, Norman Productions. Cuoco was drawn to the project as her first major voice acting gig. She embraces the R-rated craziness wholeheartedly. "I've loved the whole R rating with Harley Quinn," she said, enjoying the freedom to curse and scream in ways family sitcoms never allowed. Her portrayal doesn't mimic previous Harleys. Instead, Cuoco brings her own snarky, energetic spin while still capturing Harley's emotional core. Number 16. Kaylee Cuoco's Harley voice is intentionally fluid. Sometimes she has a Brooklynish accent and sometimes she doesn't, and that's on purpose. Fans notice Harley's accent thickens when she's around Joker or her family, but sounds more natural around Poison Ivy. According to Justin Halpern, you're not imagining it, it was intentional. Cuoco and executive producer Dean Lorry came up with the idea that Harley would slip into her old accent when trying to play the big bad for Joker, almost like she's subconsciously performing for him. But when she's relaxed or with Ivy, she speaks more in Kaylee's regular tone, the real Harleen coming through. Cuoco even noted from her own life that when people go back home, they slip into a thicker accent, so she applied that to Harley. It's a subtle character touch that many viewers appreciate once they catch on. I kind of do the same thing when talking around like strangers versus friends, because when I was young, I grew up somewhere else and then I moved to literally bumblefuck nowhere, and I had to like pretty much get rid of my New Yorkish accent. Sometimes I don't even realize when I'm like hiding my accent. I just kind of clear it up. Number 17. Cuoco's favorite part of voicing Harley Quinn? All the screaming. It's therapeutic, she joked in one interview. She has to switch from manic yells to heartfelt monologues on a dime. In fact, the show's voice director, industry veteran Charlie Adler, praised Cuoco as a really thoughtful performer for adding little vocal nuances. Number 18. Lake Bell, known for films like In a World and TV's Boston Legal, voices Poison Ivy, and she arguably steals the show as much as Harley. Interestingly, Bell wasn't a die-hard comic book fan prior to this. The producers actually liked that Lake Bell had little preconceived notions about Poison Ivy because it allowed for a more refreshing take on the character. Bell approaches Ivy not as the typical sultry eco-terrorist, but as the dry, sarcastic science nerd best friend. Her Ivy is low-key deadpan and the perfect foil to Harley's hyperactive chaos. This fresh interpretation has won over fans, with some calling Bell's Poison Ivy the best animated Ivy ever. Number 19. Lake Bell is actually a seasoned voice actress. She even made a whole movie about voiceover acting, but she says Poison Ivy might be her favorite voice role yet. In the recording booth, Bell is known to go off the rails. She's given a lot of freedom to improvise Ivy's lines, and improv she does. Fact 20. Bell even revealed that the cast often competes over who gets to use the allotted number of F-bombs per episode. There's always a battle between the castmates over those final Bell laughed. She loves to fight for your In fact, Bell's favorite ad-libbed Ivy line contains 0 F-words, but is magnificently obscene. Piss cakes off of a dick. Yes, Ivy blurts that out in a moment in season 2 frustration. Lake Bell proudly came up with that bizarre insult on the spot. That's improv. Number 21. Bell's Poison Ivy is a radically different portrayal than previous versions of Ivy. Traditionally, Ivy is depicted as a hypersexualized femme fatale in a leafy one-piece. In Harley Quinn, Ivy wears a casual jacket, leggings, and boots. Practical and modern. Bell loved that change, noting Ivy is not in a bikini or half naked, and I think that's telling of her intellect. This Ivy isn't using seduction to get her way, she's using her brains and plant powers. Bell infused Ivy's voice with that headstrong, no-nonsense vibe. The show even jokes about Ivy's academic side. Remember, Dr. Pamela Isley has a PhD in botany. One line points out that both Ivy and Harley are doctors in their fields, even if they don't always act like it. Crazy as they are, these women are wicked smart, and the series never forgets that. Honestly, you gotta be a little crazy to be a doctor. Oh my god, I can't even imagine how mentally taxing that is, being in school for that long. I know a lot of doctors and nurses, and they're a little crazy too. Number 22. Another fan favorite performance is Alan Tudyk, who pulls double duty, actually quintuple duty in the show. Tudyk voices both the Joker and Clayface, as well as a slew of incidental characters: Calendar Man, Dr. Trap, Condiment King. If there's an oddball villain with a line or two, it's probably Tudyk. He's basically the show's secret weapon. In fact, Diedrich Bader joked that when they recorded the pilot, Tudyk was in the booth voicing Joker opposite him as Batman. Later on, Tudyk would sometimes record entire scenes by himself, as Joker talking to Clayface. His ability to create distinct voices is so strong that many viewers don't realize one actor is behind so many characters. Talk about range. This is K2SO from Star Wars and King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph we're talking about. Tudyk's a chameleon. Also, he voices a lot of, animals in Disney. I think he's Hey in Moana, actually. Number 23. Alan Tudyk approached the Joker's voice in a totally unique way. Rather than imitating Mark Hamill's iconic rendition, Tudyk crafted a higher-pitched, nasally Joker who's equal parts menacing and ridiculous. He quipped that his inspiration was imagining Joker's vocal cords were damaged by the acid bath that created him. Like, if I eat spicy foods, I get acid reflux and it aggravates my voice. The result is a Joker voice that sounds just a little off in a creepy way, befitting the show's version of the character who is equal parts terrifying and petty. Still, Tudyk's Joker can snap into genuine villainous fury when needed. He just might complain about his social life while doing it, which makes this Joker distinct. Number 24. On the flip side, Tudyk's Clayface is a constant source of comedy. This isn't the Clayface from the old Batman cartoons. This Clayface is a grandiose failed actor who uses shape-shifting to method act. Tudyk gives Clayface a booming thespian delivery. He sounds like a Royal Shakespeare Company actor even when he's disguised as, say, a college receptionist. The writers have a blast with this. Clayface will introduce himself with, "I am Clayface," at the most inappropriate times. In one episode, Clayface literally splits off a sentient appendage. His severed hands become Handface, that pursues an acting career. It's bonkers, and Tudyk leans into every melodramatic, emotionally needy beat of Clayface's personality. No surprise, Tudyk himself has said Clayface is one of the most fun characters he's ever played. Number 25. Diedrich Bader, who voices Batman, is a veteran at being the Dark Knight. He also voiced Batman in the lighter Batman the Brave and the Bold series a decade earlier, but he's doing something very different in Harley Quinn. Bader's Batman is still recognizably stern, but the show gleefully pokes fun at the Caped Crusader's intensity. It's amazing that I'm playing a character I once played in a show for all ages, yet it still works at a show aimed at adults, Bader said. He loves that Harley Quinn essentially reimagines Batman's world for comedy. What are these people's lives really like, he teased. In this show, Batman can be a bit of a sad sack and the butt of jokes. Imagine stoic Batman sulking because his best friend Gordon is embarrassing him. That's a dynamic we get in the show. Bader's experience with Batman's lore and his sharp comedic timing make his portrayal one of the most subtly hilarious Batman ever put to screen. Number 26. One could argue Diedrich Bader is the unsung best Batman in recent memory. The AV Club even ran an article singing his praises for bringing a sad boy charm to the Dark Knight. In Harley Quinn, Batman is still competent and heroic, but the show has fun with him. He's overly serious, emotionally constipated, and sometimes completely out of his depth with Harley's crew. Bader and Christopher Maloney, who voices Commissioner Gordon, often recorded their scenes together, improvising buddy cop banter that had the crew in stitches. Bader said those voice sessions with Maloney were incredibly fun. They'd riff and go into really interesting areas as Batman and a drunken, depressed Jim Gordon. The result is a hilarious odd couple friendship on the show that you never knew you needed. Batman is the weary straight man to Gordon's hot mess. Number 27. Commissioner Gordon in this series is voiced by Christopher Maloney of Law & Order SVU fame, and he's a far cry from the stalwart Jim Gordon we usually see. Maloney's Gordon is exhausted, a coffee-guzzled, anxiety-riddled wreck who's barely holding on to his sanity or his marriage. This comedic take on Gordon quickly became a fan favorite, and Maloney dives in with gusto, screaming, sobbing, and babbling as Gordon hits rock bottom. Number 28. Showrunner Justin Halpern singled out Gordon as one of his favorite characters, largely thanks to Maloney's performance. Christopher Maloney is one of my favorite people on Earth, and he's such an exciting performer. We got so lucky with this whole voice cast. Indeed, Maloney's background in both drama and absurd comedy, Wet Hot American Summer anyone, makes him perfect for a Gordon who's equally likely to crack a bad joke as he is to just plain crack under pressure. Number 29. Here's a wild casting fact. The show's creators deliberately cast Brianna Cuoco, Kaylee Cuoco's younger sister, as Barbara Gordon / Batgirl in Season 2. Why? Because Barbara is a bright-eyed college student who becomes Batgirl partly by looking up to Harley and Ivy, almost like a little sister figure. The team thought Brianna's naturally bubbly, enthusiastic voice fit perfectly, plus Kaylee and Brianna already had a sisterly rapport in real life. As Schumacher explained, Batgirl in the show is a big Batman stan, a fangirl of real heroes, and Brianna Cuoco brought that innocent excitement to the role. Fact 30. Fun little bonus tidbit, when Harley and Batgirl interact, you might sense a little of that Cuoco sister chemistry coming through, which just adds to the fun. It's something that Patrick Schumacher actually pointed out. Number 31. The show also isn't shy about stunt casting iconic characters. Season 2 introduces Catwoman, voiced by the talented Sanaa Lathan. The producers specifically sought Lathan because she nailed the cool, apathetic vibe they wanted. In fact, they took heavy inspiration from Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman from Batman Returns for this version of Selina Kyle. Writer Sarah Peters, who penned Catwoman's intro episode, was obsessed with Pfeiffer's portrayal and pitched Catwoman as that one ultra-cool friend who makes even Poison Ivy feel like a dork by comparison. Lathan delivers on that concept. Her Catwoman is effortlessly slick, always a step ahead. Number 32. The show depicts Catwoman as a black woman, subtly nodding to Eartha Kitt's famous turn as Catwoman in the 1960s. The team felt having Sanaa Lathan voice Catwoman and designing Selina with Lathan's likeness was not only fitting, but a nice tip of the hat to Catwoman's diverse portrayals over the decades. Number 33. One of the show's most delightful casting coups is Alfred Molina as Mr. Freeze in Season 2. Yes, Doc Ock himself voices Victor Freeze. Molina was excited to join. He had worked with the show's casting directors on Rick and Morty, so when they called, he readily said, "Yeah, that sounds great." The writers wanted to give Mr. Freeze a bit of a gothic horror vibe, and even asked Molina if he could do an Eastern European accent for the role. Oh, being the pro he is, Molina slipped into a chilly Slavic accent instantly, which had the producers giddy. "Oh my god, he can do anything. He's Alfred Molina," Schumacher marveled. Molina's performance in the episode Thawing Hearts is both funny and heartbreaking. He plays Freeze as a polite, tragic figure trying to save his wife. By the end of the episode, many viewers admitted they unexpectedly got teary-eyed. In a show where the next scene might feature a talking plant cracking jokes. That's the power of Alfred Molina's voice acting. Number 34. Tony Hale, beloved for playing Buster in Arrested Development and Gary in Veep, brings his talents to the role of misogynistic telepath Dr. Psycho. And talk about a 180-degree turn. Hale has said that voicing Psycho is the polar opposite of voicing Forky, the innocent toy in Toy Story. Dr. Psycho was incredibly cynical and negative and said some pretty dark things, Hale noted, whereas Forky is a wide-eyed naif. Hale actually knew writer Dean Lorey from Arrested Development, which is how he got involved. While Hale's a naturally nice guy, he embraced Psycho's vile dialogue. Yes, including the C-word outburst because it was so outrageous it became funny. He did mention in one interview that sometimes recording Psycho's lines was almost too harsh, but then he'd switch over to something like Forky and feel balanced out. It's a testament to Hale's range that he can voice a children's character and one of the most despicable villains on TV at the same time. Number 35. The main cast is rounded out by comedic heavy hitters like Ron Funches as King Shark and JB Smoove as Frank the Plant. Ron Funches' take on King Shark flips the stereotype. This King Shark is a sweet, tech-savvy dude who happens to be a giant shark man. Funches imbues him with a gentle, almost nerdy cadence, until the bloodlust kicks in during a fight and he ferociously chomps someone's head off, then goes right back to worrying about his LinkedIn profile. Number 36. Meanwhile, JB Smoove voices Ivy's houseplant, Frank, as that blunt friend who says what everyone's thinking. Frank the Plant is constantly dropping sassy one-liners, often with a motherfucker thrown in. Smoove's improvisational chops shine. He makes a potted plant one of the show's most quotable characters. Frank's proud declaration, "I'm a vegetarian, Harley, I eat people," is a fan favorite. Together, Funches and Smoove add a ton of heart and humor, proving even a humanoid shark and a talking plant can be lovable characters in this universe. Number 37. Almost every episode is jam-packed with DC Easter eggs and deep cuts, but always with a twist. For example, Batman's Rogues Gallery is present, but often in hilarious caricature. Bane is a standout. The show portrays Bane as a huge muscled brute who speaks in a doofy version of the Tom Hardy voice and just wants to be included. He gets upset over things like not getting a proper chair at meetings or people blowing up the wrong person. "I'm going to blow up Todd." He cries about an annoying henchman. It's Bane as a beleaguered office guy. Number 38. Voice actor James Adomian absolutely nails this parody of Bane, and Halpern said that when they heard Adomian's take, they knew it was perfect. There's something about a guy that's fucking huge being sort of a pencil-pushing sensitive middle manager that made us laugh. Bane has since become one of the show's most memeable characters, proving even a terrifying villain can be lovable when you give him mundane problems. Mundane! Number 39. The show loves to riff on famous Batman storylines by gleefully turning them upside down. Season 2, for instance, is heavily inspired by the comic No Man's Land. In the show, after Joker's tower falls and Gotham is in chaos, the US government abandons the city. The city is carved up into territories run by villains: Penguin, Riddler, Bane, Two-Face, etc. Just like the No Man's Land comics arc, but Harley Quinn uses this as a backdrop for comedy and character growth. Harley looks at the devastated villain-run Gotham and says, "This is my playground now," while Ivy chides her to do something actually useful. The writers have fun showing the villains as squabbling warlords. Penguin runs the Iceberg Lounge like a mobster. Bane ends up ruling a chunk of the city and renames it Banetown, with Bane-themed Starbucks mugs and all. It's both a love letter and a satire to one of the 90s most famous Batman sagas. Number 40. In Harley Quinn, Commissioner Gordon hits rock bottom during the No Man's Land arc. Season 2 turns Gotham into a lawless wasteland, and we see Gordon as a desperate, disheveled shell of himself trying to reclaim the city. He actually ends up striking a deal with the president. If Jim can take down Harley Quinn, the government will readmit Gotham into the United States. This leads to Gordon going on a gung-ho crusade to arrest Harley with a tank and everything. Season 2 essentially becomes Gordon's redemption story, in the most over-the-top comedic way. Maloney's Gordon moves from comic relief to an oddly sympathetic figure as he rallies what's left of the GCPD. By season's end, he does manage to get back on top, briefly becoming a hero again, though not without plenty of personal embarrassments along the way. It's a clever arc. They took the typically dignified Jim Gordon and asked, what if he completely fell apart and had to build himself back up, and it's equal parts sad and hilarious. And it works. Number 41. The Harley-Ivy relationship is the heart of the show, and the creators committed to it 100%. In the comics, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy have had a subtextual and later explicit romance for years, and the show builds to it beautifully. By season 2, Harley and Ivy realize they have feelings for each other beyond friendship. This culminates in an emotional and chaotic finale where Ivy leaves her fiancé Kite Man at the altar, and she and Harley drive off into the sunset together. Literally. The showrunners have been adamant. They didn't want a will they, won't they yo-yo. Harley and Ivy will never break up, Patrick Schumacher vowed. Portraying a happy, healthy queer relationship was so important to us. Halpern echoed that it was more interesting to see Harley in a supportive, loving relationship after all the Joker trauma than to manufacture drama by splitting them. This stance was a breath of fresh air to the fans, who dubbed the couple Harlivy. Number 42. The writers made a no-breakup promise about Harley and Ivy, and they've kept it. Even when Season 3 introduces new challenges, like Ivy obsessing over a new villainous plan or Harley struggling with her own identity as maybe not so villainous, the two women communicate and stay partners through it all. It's more fertile ground to see a relationship that is healthy but goes through the same struggles everyone goes through, Halpern said, rather than the typical on-again, off-again drama. Schumacher added that it was crucial to portray a queer relationship as a happy one, something still too rare in media. This creative decision has earned Harley Quinn heaps of praise from LGBTQ+ viewers, and even a nomination for a GLAAD Media Award for Outstanding Comedy Series, a rarity for an animated show. Number 43. Season 3, released on HBO Max, is sometimes jokingly called the Eat, Bang, Kill Tour, as it explores Harley and Ivy's new life as a couple on the run. The season is a mix of ultraviolence and rom-com, which is exactly the show's sweet spot. Critics noted that Season 3's strength lies in how deep, how raunchy, and how relatable Harley and Ivy's relationship is. They argue about domestic issues, they have to learn to live together, Ivy's a neat freak, Harley's a tornado, and they support each other's personal growth. It's all very real, except for the part where they're also fighting the Justice League or battling plant zombies. This blend of heartfelt and absurd reached new heights in Season 3, solidifying Harley Quinn as not just a zany parody, but genuinely one of the better romance stories on TV. Who'da thunk it? Entertainment outlets like the Daily Beast even declared Harley and Ivy one of the most important and beloved couples in animation now, largely thanks to the humanity and wild streak the show gives them. Number 44. The show doesn't just focus on Harley and Ivy, it also fleshes out its side characters with care. Kite Man, for example, starts as a one-note joke, "Hell yeah!" but becomes oddly enduring. Season 2 spends time showing Kite Man's sincere love for Ivy and how he brings out a gentler side of her. Ivy describes her relationship with Kite Man as comfortable but not passionate. It's kind of boring, but safe. And she's with him because he's one of the few people she's let get close. This actually adds emotional weight to the Harlivy storyline. Harley doesn't want to be selfish and wreck something Ivy has, which is a rare moment of selflessness for Harley. Similarly, Clayface gets an arc in Season 3 where he pursues acting in the form of impersonating director James Gunn's chair. Yes, really. To fulfill his dreams, and King Shark deals with family duty in the underwater shark kingdom. These subplots are hilarious, but they also give the characters personal stakes beyond just serving Harley's story. Number 45. Easter eggs galore. The show is packed with winks to DC Comics history and pop culture. In one episode, Harley busts into a storage unit and we see a classic red and black Jester costume, her outfit from Batman the Animated Series, which she promptly dismisses as not my style anymore. Number 46. In another episode, when Dr. Psycho is recruiting a crew, one of the rejected applicants is Condiment King, the ridiculous ketchup and mustard villain from the 1994 Batman cartoon. Harley's crew literally laughs Condiment King off the stage, a funny nod to the character's origin as a parody of lame villains. Number 47. There are deep pulls like KG Beast appearing in the background, the Court of Owls hosting a secret orgy. Yes, they went there. Gotham's Illuminati throws a masked orgy much to Harley and Ivy's confusion, and there are also countless references to Batman lore. Number 48. Even casual lines have layers. One example is when Batman disappears on Gordon, Jim mutters, "He does that," which is a classic Commissioner Gordon gripe. Basically, what I'm saying is the show rewards DC fans with these Easter eggs while still being accessible to newcomers through comedy. Number 49. The infamous Batman Can't Do That controversy. You might have heard about this one. In June 2021, it came out that Harley Quinn Season 3 originally had a scene implying Batman performing oral sex on Catwoman, but DC executives asked for it to be removed. The reason? Heroes don't do that. Halpern revealed this in an interview, noting he was amused by the implication that heroes are selfish lovers. We said, "Are you saying heroes are just selfish lovers?" Halpern recounted of his response to DC. The exec's concern was apparently about marketing and toy sales for Batman. This odd bit of censorship sparked a massive online debate, and plenty of jokes. It even led to director Zack Snyder tweeting a very not safe for work illustration of Batman and Catwoman with the caption, "Canon," in jest. In fairness, Halpern and Schumacher emphasized that DC had otherwise been extremely supportive and let them push the envelope almost everywhere else. But the "heroes don't do that" line will live in infamy. Suffice to say, on Harley Quinn, the villains might do that, but the heroes apparently keep it PG-13. Number 50. The show uses moments like the above to play with double standards. It's true, Harley Quinn can show graphic violence, heads exploding, limbs getting chopped with no pushback, but a bit of consensual hero and hero intimacy? That raised corporate eyebrows. The writers found this both frustrating and funny. They even trolled the situation in Season 3 by including a scene where Catwoman abruptly leaves Batman hanging, literally to attend to something she has to do. A tongue-in-cheek nod to the act that Harley Quinn dared not to depict. In interviews, Justin Halpern diplomatically noted that DC was mostly great with the adult content and only drew the line at using their flagship hero as in a sexual scenario. It's a fascinating peek into how even an adult cartoon has to navigate corporate sensitivities, and ironically, the whole kerfuffle probably gave the show more publicity than the scene itself would have. As Variety put it, Harley Quinn subverted the superhero genre in many ways, just not that one, thanks to the Bat embargo. Number 51. Harley Quinn doesn't pull punches with its violence and language. Within the first 5 minutes of the pilot, legs are broken, faces dissolved by acid, and F-bombs dropped, establishing that this is a hard TVMA show. The creators have said that being on a streaming service freed them from the usual broadcast standards and practices. They gleefully took advantage of that. Expect decapitations played for laughs and profanity in practically every sentence Harley speaks. One running gag is that whenever Dr. Psycho uses the C word, everyone, heroes, villains, random bystanders, react with extreme shock and disgust. A meta joke that even in this anything goes world, that word is a step too far. Interestingly, the freedom to be adult allowed the show to delve into deeper themes at times, like PTSD, abuse, and morality, without feeling out of place. The mix of ultraviolence, crass humor, and genuine heart is a signature of Harley Quinn's tone, and a big part of why it stands out in the crowded superhero genre. Number 52. The animators and designers have a field day creating the show's visual style. Gotham in Harley Quinn is colorful and exaggerated, reflecting the series' comic tone. The character designs pay homage to classic looks but update them. Harley sports her modern comic-inspired pink and blue hair tips and bomber jacket. Ivy is green-skinned but in casual clothes, etc. Number 53. When the show does do a visual homage, it's delightful. For instance, there's a fantasy sequence where Harley imagines a classic Batman the Animated Series title card with her and Ivy. A direct nods fans of the 90s cartoon will recognize. Number 54. In Season 3, there's an episode titled Batman Begins Forever that dives into Bruce Wayne's psyche. The title itself mashes Batman Begins and Batman Forever, and the episode recreates the Wayne murder alley scene in countless styles, at one point featuring young Bruce dancing with his parents' corpses. Dark humor at its peak. week. Number 55. The animators even slip in meme-worthy visuals, like King Shark wearing a tux or the Joker in dad jeans. The show's art may not be pristine in a traditional sense. It intentionally has a comic book meets graffiti aesthetic, but it's bursting with personality in every frame. Number 56. The series has had some impressive guest stars and cameos. One highlight, legendary actor Michael Ironside reprises his role as Darkseid on Harley Quinn. Ironside famously voiced Darkseid in the DC animated universe of the 90s, so fans lost it when he returned to voice the Tyrant of Apocalypse in Harley Quinn. He appears in Season 2 when Harley tries to get an army of parademons, and yes, they let Darkseid be both menacing and ridiculous. He ends up somewhat impressed by Dr. Psycho's ruthlessness. Number 57. Another fun cameo? James Gunn, director of the Suicide Squad and, in charge of the current DC Studios, appears as himself in Season 3, directing a biopic about Thomas Wayne. Gunn's real-life Twitter friendship with the producers scored him the gig, and he gamely pokes fun at himself in the role. Number 58. Season 3 also has Billy Bob Thornton playing himself as the star of that Thomas Wayne biopic, who, in true Harley Quinn fashion, gets accidentally mauled to death by Catwoman's tiger on set, allowing Clayface to impersonate him. The image of Billy Bob's severed head rolling across the floor, followed by Clayface cheerily taking his place, is peak Harley Quinn. Number 59. Speaking of meta humor, Season 3 introduces the Villy Awards, basically the Oscars for villains, and it's a treasure trove of in-jokes. The Villys, short for Villain Awards, take place at a very familiar location, the theater where Bruce Wayne's parents were killed. The grand prize is the Joe Chill Award for Best Couple, named after the guy who murders the Waynes. This is the kind of twisted detail the show revels in. In that episode, Harley is desperate for her and Ivy to win Best Couple to prove they're stronger than Harley and Joker ever were, while Ivy absolutely hates the pomp and just wants to get back to her plants. The ceremony itself is filled with cameos. Virtually every villain we've seen shows up in the ballroom, from Bane to Clock King and his wife Cock King. Yes, a sight gag of a chicken-headed villain, because why not? Joker ends up hosting the awards, complete with a cringy rap number making fun of his own infamous comic book moment, beating Jason Todd with a crowbar. It's one of the show's most celebrated episodes for its rapid-fire satire of both Hollywood and Batman lore. Number 60. By the way, that Season 3 subplot of Joker becoming a suburban stepdad and then running for mayor? Totally a thing that happens. After rediscovering his love for a woman named Bethany and her kids, which started as Joker getting amnesia and living a normal life, Joker retains some newfound humanity. So what does the clown prince of crime do with empathy? He campaigns to become Gotham's mayor on a platform of providing free, quality preschool to all. It's as absurd as it sounds, yet oddly coherent in the show's logic. Joker genuinely tries to be a decent politician, albeit while still being maniacal. This storyline parodies political redemption arcs and hits at the idea that villains in this universe can change a bit. It also gives Alan Tudyk even more crazy material. One minute, Joker's distributing flyers and debating the incumbent, the next he's losing his temper and threatening voters. The fact that Gotham citizens actually consider voting for Joker, because hey, at least he's honest about being evil, is the kind of satire Harley Quinn pulls off in stride. Number 61. The critical reception of Harley Quinn has been stellar. All 3 original seasons earned a 100% Rotten Tomatoes critic score, and the show won the 2023 Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Animated Series, beating out some high-profile competition. It's also been nominated for multiple Annie Awards, for General Audience Animation and Writing, and even earned a spot as a finalist for the GLAAD Media Award for Best Comedy Series. A notable achievement for an animated show with such an eccentric tone. By Season 3, many reviewers declared that Harley Quinn had become one of TV's smartest comedies, period, animated or otherwise. The series was also recognized by its peers, with Warner Brothers animation heads pointing to it as a model for comedy with heart and edge, diverse and inclusive storytelling in adult animation. Number 62. Harley Quinn's success has even influenced DC's approach to the character in other media. Harley was already popular thanks to Margot Robbie and the comics, but this show cemented her as a modern icon. DC released a tie-in comic series, the Eat, Bang, Kill Tour, bridging seasons 2 and 3, written by T. Franklin, which further explored Harley and Ivy's relationship on the run, showing how canon the show's developments had become in Harley's lore. Meanwhile, in the mainline comics, Harley and Ivy's romance got a bigger spotlight, undoubtedly buoyed by fan demand from the show. Even the upcoming projects in the DC live-action realm, like Lady Gaga playing Harley and Joker Folie à Deux, took bold swings with the character, arguably made possible by how Harley Quinn proved audiences are eager for new subversive takes. Number 63. Behind the scenes, the writer's room of Harley Quinn was known for its collaborative and irreverent spirit. Justin Halpern and Patrick Schumacher are old friends, and they brought in a diverse staff of comedy writers, many from outside the typical superhero box. They had alumni from shows like Community, Parks and Rec, and Rick and Morty, even stand-up comics. This mix led to the show's unique flavor of humor. As Schumacher noted, the key was each character needed a comedic engine, something inherently funny about their personality that the writers could riff on. They'd ask questions like, what does Bane do when he's not trying to blow up Gotham? Does he, go to stand-up open mics? Apparently he might. There's a season 3 scene of Bane sadly alone at a bar that suggests as much. The freedom of animation meant if a joke was too crazy to film in live action, they could probably do it here. The writers have mentioned that DC gave them a sandbox and let them play, and it results in some of the most unexpected gags. For example, a random throwaway in season 3 reveals that the villain Killer Croc enjoys boutique cupcakes. It's that kind of show, willing to humanize or embarrass any character for laughs. Number 64. The voice recording process for the show is also interesting. Unlike many animated series where actors record separately, Harley Quinn often records cast members together to capture improv and chemistry. Diedrich Bader said he frequently recorded alongside Chris Maloney, and the riffing made it into the show. Likewise, Kelly Cuoco and Lake Bell have been in the booth together for Harley and Ivy scenes, which helps their heartfelt moments and comedic timing land even better. This approach, guided by voice director Charlie Adler, contributes to the show's lively conversational feel. Characters talk over each other, quip, and react in real time, which isn't easy to achieve in animation. It's one of those subtle production choices that elevates the whole series. In short, the cast isn't just reading lines, they're performing with each other, and you can hear the difference. Number 65. The creators have a genuine love for the source material, even as they parody it. They managed to get Harley's original co-creator, Paul Dini, to write an episode in season 3. Spoiler, it involves a certain Joker running for mayor. They pepper the show with homages to Batman the Animated Series from visual nods to direct references, like Harley calling Ivy Red, a nickname from the 90s cartoon, and Ivy referring to Harley as Harleen in serious moments. And of course, Arlene Sorkin, the original voice of Harley, and Kevin Conroy, the iconic Batman voice, both get acknowledgement. One episode has Harley briefly sound like Sorkin when under psychological strain, and another features a eulogy for Batman that includes the line, "He was the voice of a generation," a wink that Bat fans certainly picked up on. Note, this fact does contain a bit of conjecture from keen-eared fans, but the spirit of tribute in the show is confirmed by numerous interviews. The show might be irreverent, but it comes from a place of love for the DC universe. That's why even hardcore comic readers have embraced it. Number 66. Over its run, Harley Quinn has fearlessly tackled topics like mental health and recovery from abuse, all under the guise of humor. Harley's entire arc is essentially about overcoming trauma. She literally has therapy sessions with herself, using her psychiatry training for some much-needed self-help and with others. In one season 3 episode, she becomes Batman's therapist of sorts, guiding Bruce through his pathological grief over his parents. It's played for laughs. Harley can't resist poking fun at the never-ending Martha and Thomas Wayne death scene replays, but it also treats the subject matter with respect. The show's depiction of Harley finally breaking free from Joker's psychological hold has been lauded by domestic violence support groups for showing that journey in a meaningful way. Beneath the F-bombs, there's real substance. Kaylee Cuoco said that one reason she loves the show is because beneath all the crazy, it's about someone finding empowerment and true friendship. That balance of irreverence and sincerity is what makes Harley Quinn resonate beyond the laughs. Number 67. Harley Quinn's creative risks have paid off so well that even the new bosses at DC Studios are in its corner. In late 22, when James Gunn and Peter Safran took over DC's film and TV division, fans worried if the animated series would fit into their plans. Gunn himself, now co-CEO of DC Studios, reassured fans on Twitter that Harley Quinn wasn't going anywhere. He's a fan of the show. In fact, James Gunn's cameo in season 3 as a director was so well received that it felt like a passing of the torch. Shortly after, Gunn became the guy in charge of DC's future, and he's openly supportive of the cartoon where he voiced a goofy version of himself.
With songs to spice in some humor, I think you're going to love.
Warner Brothers has continued to champion Harley Quinn as a shining example of DC's multiverse approach. It doesn't tie into the movies or other shows, and it doesn't have to. It exists in its own crazy corner, free to satirize and celebrate the DC world without restrictions. Number 68. The series has fostered a passionate fan community. The hashtag HarlIvy trends whenever the new episodes drop, and fan art of Harley and Ivy floods social media, often acknowledged by the official accounts. When the show was between seasons after the DC Universe to HBO Max move, fans launched campaigns like Renew Harley Quinn. Their voices were heard when season 3 was finally announced. The show's team clearly has fun with the fandom. They've hosted watch parties, Q&As on Reddit, Halpern did an AMA where he answered tons of nerdy questions, and they even slyly reference fan discussions in the show. For example, fans often joke about how every time Batman meets Gordon on a rooftop, he disappears. In Harley Quinn, Harley cracks a joke about the Bat Signal's elevator being broken, winking at Batman's dramatic flair. A line so meta, a fan asked if it was a reference to the Big Bang Theory of all things. In Halpern's AMA, the writers are clearly lurking and laughing along with the fandom. This tight-knit engagement has helped Harley Quinn become not just a show, but a community for people who enjoy a little insanity with their superheroes. Number 69. So, how petty is this Bane? Well, the series jokes that Bane blew up Gotham Stadium, a la The Dark Knight Rises, simply because he got a trivia question wrong. In an in-show gag, Bane admits he bombed the stadium out of spite for a sports trivia embarrassment. Villainous vengeance at its pettiest and funniest. Number 70. Season 3 introduced Nightwing to the chaos. Harvey Guillen, famous as Guillermo on What Do We Do in the Shadows, voices an overly broody Nightwing / Dick Grayson, who returns to Gotham and immediately butts heads with the Bat family. His dramatic, try-hard attitude is played for laughs, and yes, the show even jokes about the infamous Nightwing butt, continuing the series' cheeky fascination with Dick's, assets. Number 71. Nightwing's butt became a real production obsession in Season 4. The crew discovered that the initial animation gave Dick Grayson a disappointingly flat derriere. A no-no for Nightwing's, assets. They literally sent scenes back to the animators with the note, "Make his ass bigger," until our beloved butt got the proper shape. Yes, this actually happened. Number 72. The pandemic forced some creative remote recording. Actor Diedrich Bader, who plays Batman, had to record his lines from inside his wife's closet. In 2020, Bader hung out under dresses with an iPhone while sound engineers guided him over Zoom. It wasn't glamorous, but even Batman isn't immune to COVID-19 work-from-home life. Number 73. Even DC's greatest heroes aren't spared from the silliness. In one scene, Wonder Woman is shown at home casually eating Wonder Rose cereal from a box with her own face on it while wearing a Wonder Woman t-shirt. Apparently Diana Prince munches on branded breakfast when off duty. It's a quick gag that humanizes the Justice League in the most absurd way. Number 74. The show throws back to Adam West-era Batman. Shark repellent makes an appearance. In a fight with King Shark, Batman sprays him with a can of shark repellent, just like the goofy gadget from the 1966 Batman. And yes, it works. Poor King Shark is not amused. Holy nostalgia, Batman! Number 75. In this universe, Joker really did kill Robin, aka Jason Todd. Harley Quinn casually confirms the infamous Death in the Family comic storyline as canon during a fight. Joker taunts Batman with "Jason Todd is dead because I killed him." It's a dark nod played for laughs, and it cemented that the show exists in its own twisted DC continuity. Number 76. Another deep cut reference, Joker mentions he paralyzed Gordon's partner. A wink to the graphic novel The Killing Joke, where Joker shot Barbara Gordon. In this show's lore, Joker didn't target Batgirl, he took out someone else's spinal cord, but the homage is clear. And another example of how this series loves slyly remixing iconic Batman moments for its own lore. Number 77. The Suicide Squad exists in this universe as well, and they keep trying to recruit Harley. In Season 1, Harley's crew gets a package of official Suicide Squad merch, which annoys her. "Ugh, it's that group that keeps trying to get me to join," Harley groans. She wants to lead her own crew, thank you very much, not take orders from Amanda Waller. Number 78. The series isn't afraid to roast its own fanbase. One episode cold opens with two nerds wearing Release the Snyder Cut and The Last Jedi is Not Canon t-shirts, bashing the show. One calls it too woke. It's a direct parody of toxic fandom culture. Bold move? Yeah. Did those very fans get mad in real life? Oh, hell yeah. You bet they did. And the show just laughed it off. Number 79. Love DC Easter eggs? Harley Quinn delivers, of course. Villain Dr. Trap's lair is basically a mini Bat museum of stolen goods. In his collection, you can spot the Penguin's umbrella, the giant T-Rex from the Batcave, and even the preserved head of Egghead, an obscure 1960s baddie. The art team filled the background with dozens of blink and you'll miss it DC artifacts. Talk about nerd service. Number 80. The sporting voice cast is stacked with comedy legends. We've got Jason Alexander as Cy Borgman, Harley's cyborg senior landlord. Wanda Sykes as the Queen of Fables, JB Smoove, as I mentioned before, as Frank the Plant, Giancarlo Esposito as Lex Luthor, Natalie Morales as Lois Lane, Jim Rash as the Riddler, and the list goes on. It's like a who's who of hilarious people lending their pipes to DC characters. Number 81, Harley and Ivy's romance was literally decades in the making. The pair originally teamed up in the 1993 episode Harley and Ivy of Batman the Animated Series, which planted the seeds of their relationship. This show finally pays that off, turning subtext into full-blown love story, as Ivy's voice, Lake Bell, said, their BFF to lovers arc is a 90s kid's dream come true. Number 82. In season 3, two women, Chrissy Pietrush and Jessica Goldstein, joined the show as co-showrunners. Halpern and Schumacher brought in their longtime friends and fellow comedy veterans to get fresh eyes on the writer's room. The result? Even more nuanced and riotous takes on Harley and Ivy's relationship, thanks in part to Chrissy and Jess's perspective. Number 83. The show originally streamed on the short-lived DC Universe app and actually survived that platform's collapse. When DC Universe folded, Harley Quinn was one of the lucky series to get rescued and moved to HBO Max. It even thrived there with a bigger audience. Harley basically laughed in the face of streaming turmoil and kept it going. Number 84. Ahead of season 4, showrunner duties passed off to writer Sarah Peters, a veteran of the series who penned some fan-favorite episodes, like Ivy's Bachelorette Party. Co-creators Halpern and Schumacher happily handed Sarah the reins, confident she'd preserve the show's bloody, sexy slapstick fun in season 4 and beyond. And she delivered. Season 4 kept the wild ride rolling. Number 85. How did the creators pitch this bonkers show to DC initially? It's the Mary Tyler Moore Show, if Mary was a killer, they said. In other words, a workplace comedy starring Harley as an ambitious career gal who happens to be a violent criminal. That unlikely mashup sold the execs. Who could resist the Mary Tyler Moron Show? Harley's basically Mary with a mallet. Number 86. Believe it or not, Harley Quinn can hit you in the feels. Season 2 episode Thawing Hearts, Mr. Freeze's story, left many viewers teary-eyed. In it, Freeze sacrifices himself to cure his beloved wife Nora. Critics called the episode surprisingly emotional and profound. Proof that amidst the profanity and violence, this show's heart is as strong as its humor. Number 87. Season 3 flipped the script. It made Batman the villain. He goes off the rails trying to resurrect his parents, and Harley something of a hero. This bold move paid off. Fans embraced seeing Batman in a darker light, and Harley stepped up to stop him. It's a testament to the show's fearless approach that it can turn Gotham's moral code upside down and still have us cheering. Number 88. Even Gotham's monsters have mundane moments. In one scene, Solomon Grundy and Calendar Man are seen just hanging out chatting at the Legion of Doom HQ. Fittingly, the two holiday-themed baddies are coordinating their calendars. Thanksgiving plans, perhaps? It's a hilarious little nod that even villains make small talk on their off days. Number 89. Harley Quinn scored a big industry win in 2023. It won the Critics' Choice Award for Best Animated Series. That's right, our foul-mouthed Harley beat out some very family-friendly cartoons for the top prize. As Harley might say in an acceptance speech, I'd like to thank the Academy. Holy shit, we did it! Number 90. In 2020, Forbes magazine went so far as to call Harley Quinn probably the single best superhero show on TV right now. High praise, huh? Critics constantly rave about the series' sharp writing and fearless humor. It's not often a raunchy cartoon dethrones live-action superhero shows in quality, but Harley's done exactly that. Number 91. In August of 2023, we sadly lost Arlene Sorkin, the original voice of Harley Quinn, and Harley's inspiration. Sorkin passed away at 67. Though she wasn't involved in the series, the creator paid tribute to Arlene's legacy. After all, without her iconic Harley performance in the 90s, there'd be no Harley Quinn for Kaylee Cuoco to play. Rest in peace to a true originator. Number 92. The show isn't all fart jokes. It also homages its source material in clever ways. Case in point, Season 2's flashback episode, Batman's Back Man, is a loving homage to Batman the Animated Series. It even retells Harley's origin story with a twist, revealing that Joker manipulated her more than she realized. It's a cool Easter egg and a bit of meta-commentary on Harley's past, all done in Harley style, of course. Number 93. Harley Quinn was a surprise hit that no one saw coming. One reviewer on Bleeding Cool confessed it was a show that no one expected to be so good. Early skeptics assumed it'd be crude for crude's sake, but the series blew past expectations with its whip-smart writing and heart. Number 94. USA Today outright called Harley Quinn the best superhero show on TV right now. Not just animated, best superhero show period. Between this series and live-action hits, Harley is the reigning champ according to some critics. Who would have guessed that a potty-mouthed Harley would dethrone the Arrowverse and MCU on TV? Yet, here we are. Number 95. The showrunners are thrilled to keep the Harley train rolling. Quote, "We are ecstatic that HBO Max wants the story of Harley and Ivy to continue," Halpern and Schumacher said when Season 4 was announced, before they handed off day-to-day duties to Sarah Peters, but remained involved. Number 96. Big changes were really ahead at the time. Season 5 had just been announced, it premiered earlier this year, and it took Harley and Ivy to Metropolis. Tired of Gotham's gloom, the duo decided to move in with the supers. Fun cameos like Lois Lane, who is voiced by Natalie Morales, and even Lex Luthor's crew join in on the fun. New city, same crazy Harley. Number 97. Season 5 kicks off by confirming that the Gotham City Sirens have already split up despite their big team-up moment at the end of Season 4. Number 98. In the Season 5 premiere, there's a really fun, clever visual gag. We pan from Gotham's dark, brooding skyline straight into the bright, hopeful streets of Metropolis. This perfectly plays into the classic contrast between Batman and Superman's worlds and cities, and how they've been constantly portrayed in the past. Number 99. Superman jokes that his last vacation was when he flew into space to spin the Earth backwards and save Lois Lane, which is an obvious and hilarious callback to the 1978 Superman film starring Christopher Reeve. Number 100. Brainiac, voiced by Stephen Fry, is officially the big bad of Season 5. He was first teased in the Kite Man Hell Yeah spinoff, but now he's taking center stage. Number 101. In episode 4 of Season 5, we learn that Brainiac's home planet, Kolu, is located in Sector 1287, which is just like in the classic DC Comics lore. Number 102. As Brainiac travels across space, we get cameos of several familiar DC planets, including Brainiac's original homeworld, Tamaran, Zarnia, Zernar, Daxam, Bismol, Ran, Thanagar, Krypton, and even the square-shaped Bizarro world, which is spelled like Earth, but backwards. Number 103. In episode 5 of Season 4, it's revealed that Damian Wayne was dating Raven from Teen Titans until she dumps him via text. Number 104. Bruce Wayne has a massive portrait of Dick Grayson proudly displayed in his penthouse, and right next to it, a much smaller one of Jason Todd. It's a very funny nod to how Nightwing is the golden boy while Red Hood's the family black sheep. Number 105. Lois reveals that her middle name is Joanne, just like in the comics where it was given as tribute to Joanne Carter, the real-life inspiration for her character. Bane then casually adds that Joanne is also Lady Gaga's middle name, which is a fun little meta nod since Gaga is playing Harley Quinn in Joker Folie à Deux. Number 106. Red X, now resurrected thanks to the Lazarus Pits, tells Harley, "You killed me, Quinn, and you would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling Lazarus Pits." It's a dead-on Scooby-Doo reference right down to the classic villain catchphrase. Number 107. And finally, this show has broken the DC record for F-bombs. By the end of Season 3, Harley Quinn had dropped about 273 F-bombs in total, more than any other DC production ever. And that's not even counting Season 4 and Season 5. So for comparison, that's more F-words than the entire Nolan Batman trilogy and the Snyderverse combined. They don't call it an R-rated animated series for nothing, folks. And there you have it. 107 facts about Harley Quinn. Like I said, the show is unhinged, and these facts just solidified how unhinged it was meant to be from the start. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and if you're curious about the facts, check out our source doc to learn more. You can find it in the description. Thanks for watching, and remember, Frederator loves you.